Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Today's parasha, Ki Tetzei, is like one of those everything but the kitchen sink recipes. You know, the ones that have a little bit of everything in them. Some love, some family drama, some life advice, and if you're lucky, maybe even a few rules about oxen. If you're not careful, you might get lost in the details, wondering why you've just read about how to treat your neighbor's escaped goat, or what to do if you find a lost cloak. And of course, as Rabbi Camilla mentioned, Ki Tetzei is the seminal work about camping. But hidden in all those mitzvot are some truly profound lessons that speak directly to our lives today. Start with the idea of personal responsibility. Ki Tetzei is packed with commandments, 74 to be exact, and they range from the way we should treat each other in times of war to the proper care for the environment. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never had to return a lost ox to its owner. And if I did, I'd probably have some questions first. But the message is clear. We are responsible not only for our own actions, but also for the well-being of those around us. In the modern world, personal responsibility is a theme that extends beyond the specific situations outlined in the Torah. Kant told us, act only according to that maxim whereby you can, at the same time, will that it should become a universal law. In other words, live your life in a way that your actions could serve as a model for others. Now, Kant wasn't exactly known for his sense of humor, so it's safe to say he never had to wrestle with an ox on the loose. But his point about personal responsibility is one we can all relate to. The idea of setting an example through our actions is particularly relevant to me and my wife Irene, as we prepare to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary this month. 20 years of marriage seems extraordinary, especially when that marriage is to me. We spent 2 decades together, figuring out how to navigate life's challenges, big and small. And if there's one thing we've learned, it's that marriage is a daily exercise in personal responsibility and in patience, if you're Irene. Now, I don't mean that every day of our marriage has been filled with profound ethical dilemmas. Although, there was that time I thought it was a good idea to assemble IKEA furniture without reading the instructions first. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But in all seriousness, marriage, like life, is about taking responsibility for our actions, our words, and the impact we have on each other. It's about showing up, even when it's difficult, making the effort to be the best partner we can be. That brings us to another key theme I read in Ki Tetzei, the importance of constant incremental improvement. The Torah isn't just a rule book, it's a guide for how to live a meaningful life. The mitzvah of Shiloach Hakein, or sending away the mother bird before taking her eggs, is a perfect example of this. It's a small act of kindness, a reminder that we should always strive to add a little more compassion to the world, even when being self-serving, and even when the rules don't explicitly demand it. In a modern context, Kierkegaard emphasized the importance of the small, everyday decisions that shape our lives. Paraphrased, he said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. In other words, it's the small choices we make daily that define our lives and our relationships. This resonates with the approach Irene and I have taken in our marriage. We found that it's not the grand gestures that sustain a relationship, but the little things, the daily acts of love and kindness that build a strong foundation over time. Of course, this doesn't mean we shouldn't celebrate the big moments. In fact, I'm happy to say that after 20 years of marriage, Irene and I have learned to cherish both the big celebrations and the small, seemingly mundane moments, just like the commandments in Ki Tetzei, which cover everything from the grand to the everyday. Our marriage has been a mix of both. And while I haven't yet figured out how to finagle the use of the Shiloach Hakein commandment as an excuse to avoid chores around the house, I'm still working on it. Beyond personal responsibility and the need for constant improvement, Ki Tetzei also teaches us about justice and fairness. The Torah places a strong emphasis on how we should treat others, especially those who are vulnerable. It tells us to ensure fair treatment of workers, to protect the rights of those who might be marginalized, and to conduct ourselves with integrity in all our dealings. These principles aren't just about following rules. They're about cultivating a mindset that values justice and seeks to create a world where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. In Middlemarch, George Eliot wrote, "The growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts." Eliot is reminding us that the goodness in the world often comes from those who live justly, even when no one is watching. For Irene and me, these values have been central to our marriage. We've worked to build a relationship founded on mutual respect, fairness, and a commitment to doing what is right, not just for ourselves, but for our family and community. Our partnership has thrived because we've made a conscious effort to ensure that our actions reflect the values we hold dear, and because we've tried to live in a way that honors these principles every day. As we approach our 20th anniversary, we're reminded that this milestone isn't just a celebration of the years we've shared, but a testament to the journey we've undertaken together. It's a journey that has been guided by the lessons of the enduring truths found in both Jewish and universal teachings. As we celebrate Shabbat together today, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on how the lessons of Ki Tetzei can guide us in our own lives. How can we take responsibility for our actions and the impact they have on others? How can we strive to improve ourselves, our relationships, and our communities, one small step at a time? And how can we ensure that our actions are aligned with the values of justice, fairness, and compassion? Irene and I are grateful for the 20 years we've shared. Well, I am. We look forward to many more years of learning, growing, and celebrating together. We pray that all of us, in our own lives and relationships, continue to be guided by the wisdom of the Torah, striving to live in a way that honors our commitments to each other and to the world around us. And who knows, maybe one day when we're sitting around a table trying to figure out the best way to return a lost ox or assemble that last piece of IKEA furniture, we'll look back on these lessons and smile, knowing that, like our marriage, we've done our best to live with integrity, responsibility, and a little bit of humor. Shabbat Shalom.